Welcome to the Run Radio podcast. My name's Trina. My guest today, Michele Rickman. Many of you know her from the Contributor Corner with Michele Rickman Coaching, all about doing things to inspire confidence for us. But you had an incident last year that was just kind of blew up everything in your life. Please tell us about that and how your confidence might have been affected and what you're doing to change all of that.
Hey, yes. My husband of 31 years, we'd been together for 33 years, and we were a team. We were an actual team partnership. Yes, he came home from work and went out in the yard to mow the grass, and it had a heart attack and passed away. Yes. So it overwhelming. I still sometimes can't put it into words. What it was like, what took place. He was my best friend. It was an ordinary day. I just talked to him that morning. He was my cheerleader. He was the person who was responsible for me starting my own business, being out there, helping people. And so in a matter of seconds, your life changes.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, it's very much that you are on autopilot. You are functioning, taking the steps, one foot in front of the other. But something that kept playing in my mind is that if he were here, he would be cheering you on. If he were here, he would be saying, this is what you need to do. And so somewhere in that autopilot, I could hear that. And I knew that is what I needed to do. My kids are adults, but still, it was their dad. Two of my three kids watched it happen. They were there. My youngest was the one who came to tell me that he was collapsed in the front yard unresponsive. So she was the first one to get the message. And something that Joe and I always focused on was supporting our kids. And so I have to say, though, that my kids stepped up and were supporting me. So they're 25, 23, and 21. And they were, my youngest was only 20. It was a week before her 21st birthday. And so they were the ones making the calls. They were the ones standing behind me, even though it had happened to them.
Yeah.
And I saw what Joe and I had taught them all of their lives kicking in, that a family is a partnership. And so we did it together, the four of us. And I think that is so very important to find your people. In my case, it was my kids, my networking family, and my friends and family. But yeah, it does shake your confidence. It's what do I do? Where do I go from here? I had all of the thoughts racing through my head as to can I keep building my business? Because I was at a turning point in my business, and actually Joe was going to come on board with me. And so we were working on that. We were working through, because he was such a leader. And so those were some of the things that were coming to mind for me as to, if I shut down right now, which is what I wanted to do, there were
Yeah,
many times where
for
that's what I
sure.
wanted to do. If I shut down right now, I will be letting him down. Everything that we have built for the past 33 years together
Mhm.
will mean nothing. And so every morning I would wake up for just a few minutes, it wouldn't be there. And then it would come. And then the next step would be talking myself through, this is what has to happen next. You
Yeah.
have to get up. You have to put one foot in front of the other, and you have to make this day happen. And I could lean on other people for my confidence. So I think that's something important to think about as well, in those moments in our lives where our confidence is challenged. We really have to find the right cheerleaders.
First of all, my condolences. I just over and over can't imagine what that could have been like for you. It sounds like I never had the privilege to meet Joe yet. And so I no doubt just those small bits and pieces of information and stories I've heard, he was amazing, not just to your family, but the community as a whole. Can you tell us a little bit about Joe and what he did for everybody?
I can. Probably the best way to sum Joe up as a family man is that you never meet anybody who knew him who didn't know about the kids and I.
Oh.
People that I hadn't met who came to the visitation even knew the kids' names.
Mm.
They just he loved, and he loved big. But my son just used an example the other day of a friend of his talking about his dad. And so my kids were all involved in theater at Central High School. And the kids were always amazed because my husband was an athlete. He was also in choir. He did all of it. He went to a small school, so he did everything. But my kids all chose to be in music and theater. And so he stepped up just like a booster dad, but only for that. And so for theater, for shows, he would come every night of every show and work concessions. And the joke is, the other night, some of the kids were saying, how many popcorn machines full of popcorn did Papa Rickman make? And that is what all the kids called him, was Papa Rickman. All
Oh.
my kids' friends, he was Papa Rickman. And he he was a father figure to not just my kids, but their friends as well. Regardless of what their family background was, he was maybe just a second supportive dad, or in some cases, he was their dad. And um, that was absolutely huge. We have kids who would come, to our house, and even after my kids had moved out, they would come back and visit with us and get advice from Papa Rickman, and things like that. And then community wise, he did the same thing. When he worked for MoDOT all of those years, he was a mentor to so many young engineers, so many young employees. Um, and then at the firm that he worked at, CJW, they had a lot of young engineers there that he was mentoring as well. He just had a big heart. He really believed that every single person out there just needed to feel seen and heard. And he felt like if we could do that for people, we could change the world.
Yeah.
And that was for him. As far as the community goes, when he worked for MoDOT, uh, he was on every um, safety committee. He was with the Coalition for Roadway Safety. He partnered with a team at Mercy Hospital to attempt to prevent head injuries in young people in car accidents. He spent many, many hours standing at fairs and vendor events on his own time, explaining to kids um, the impact of even a low speed accident and what it can do. Rollover accidents. He was the one of the first. Well, he was on the team of people. It was him and a friend who brought forward the idea of the divergent diamond intersections here. So we have the very first divergent diamond intersection in the country, and he was a part of that. He was instrumental in the traffic management center here in Springfield. Uh, the the wires that you see on the interstate in the median to stop cars from crossing if they have an accident. That was Joe. He helped several of the small police departments in the area get body cams because it was safer for them and safer for the people that they were pulling over. So many things. Oh, he was one of the first board members for the Safe and Sober movement, that organization. He supported it all the way till the end of his life, and wanted to continue that support always for anything out there that was helping to keep people safe. That was just huge to him. I just told some Branson people in my networking group that the red route, yellow route, blue route, moving traffic through Branson, he was part of that too. Yeah, he was part of all of that. He was one of the senior construction inspectors when the James River Freeway was built. Those were some of his first jobs. Goodness. Yeah, those were some of his first jobs with MoDOT, were Branson and James River Freeway. I always joke with my kids and say that I got to be on the freeway before it even had pavement on it. Yeah. So, yeah. He was one of the people who helped figure out the Fremont Bridge that goes over James River Freeway, because if you ever take a minute to look at that bridge from underneath, it's skewed. Yeah. It had to be because it goes at an angle. And so they had to figure out how to make that work.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So it sounds like his mind did not rest. I mean,
it did not rest. He was always to take it a step further. He ended up getting certified as an accident reconstructionist, so that he could help people and even MoDOT in court cases figure out exactly how an accident happened. This just came to mind for me. He was in a car accident on Republic Road one evening, and it was a young girl, and she was at a left turn yield, and he had the right of way. It was a green light, and she just went. She panicked. She went. She hit him. I get the phone call that he's been in this accident, and it was a head-on. And I get there, and he's standing out holding his arm. He'd broken his elbow, but he was standing out holding his arm and calming her down and talking to her, checking to make sure everybody was okay, and reconstructing the accident with the firemen that were there.
Good person to have a collision with, I guess.
Yeah. That was, his brain did work 900 miles an hour, and he was a big guy. Everybody jokes about the fact that he was 6'4" and he weighed about 290, and he was just this huge teddy bear of a man. Friends and family always would say that if they ever needed a hug, they wanted a Joe hug, because he would just embrace you in that and just put all of his positive energy into you. He was the dad that would sit and read fairy tales to my girls with a pink crown on and
Oh my
a pink
gosh.
boa and,
Oh,
and all of those things. So he was a little larger than life. And one of the things that someone asked me was, um, how are you doing so well with this? And I tell people, well, you don't always see me behind closed doors, but
yeah.
truthfully, I'm doing so well because if that's really what it is so well. Um, because what you saw with us is what it was. It was it was true, and how how he lived his life out was authentic. It was who he was in our living room. It was who he was in the office. And we just didn't leave things unsaid or undone. And so I get to honestly say that the only regret, because I think that's what hits people when you lose someone, is regret. I wish I would have. I wish I'd have said this. Um, our only regret, and the kids and I have talked about this, is that he's not here. Um,
Oh,
as far as I wish I would have, we don't have that. The kids came over, they saw him all the time. They each had their own relationship with him. Uh, he was he was their rock, he was their comfort, and it we say there's a big Joe size hole in
yeah.
the universe. But at the same time, we have to honor him by doing what he would want us to do, which is to put one foot in front of the other and
Yeah.
do what we need to do and continue to help people, continue to support each other, continue to make the world a better place,
And
because that's what he wanted.
you're doing that with his legacy, for his legacy, with this event coming up. Tell me about it.
Okay. Well, it's coming up on, of course, a year. It was last April when we lost him. And the kids and I had been talking about something to honor him, now that we've been healing. And, when you lose somebody, I think one of your fears is that people might forget who that
Mhm.
person was, especially someone like Joe. And so we wanted to do maybe a celebration of life. We just weren't sure. And I have a friend who has been a wish granter for Make a Wish for 20 years. My friend Melanie. She's wonderful. That's been one of her gifts to the world, is to be a wish granter. And last year she was a part of a new organization that works for local kids and Make a Wish, and it's called Women of Wish. And so she asked if I would become a Woman of Wish, since we do have two children who are Wish recipients. So our oldest, Kyle and Sarah, both have cystic fibrosis. And so they both got wishes from Make a Wish. And we didn't understand what Make a Wish was until then. And so it is such a gift to kids and families who fight every day. They fight
Mhm.
every single day. You know that. And so that sort of came together as to, yes, if I become part of this fundraising, and Women of Wish do a fundraising drive in February and March. If I become a part of that, could we combine those two things, and how would we do that? How could I um, do a memorial to Joe and raise money for Make a Wish, because that's what he would want? And we have one of my very best friends is a performer, Allie Hutzel, and she's a local performer. And she and I for a long time have been talking about putting together local musicians in one place.
Yes.
And so all of that just one night I was laying in bed and I was thinking, why couldn't we do a concert? Joe loved music. He was a singer himself and played a few instruments and um, sang to my kids all of the time, sang out and about. And so was in a gospel group with his family when he was young. His whole family are music oriented. And so I thought, uh, this could honor him and this legacy that he has left behind of giving back and helping people. And so with a $0 budget,
Yeah.
out I set out to do a concert that has grown and taken on a life of its own. I just reached out to the performers that I knew, and of course, they loved Joe, and they said yes. And before I knew it, I had a couple of performers reaching out to me saying, "I knew Joe. I be a part of this?"
Yeah.
And we have seven local groups or individuals who are performing. One of those being our son, who also gigs out and about. And yes, so that fell into place. And then uh, we had to find a location and, dream big. That's always my thing that I tell my kids. So I thought if we could get the Shrine Mosque, that would be incredible because, other concerts happen there. And so I just asked again in my networking family, I said, who do we know? And one of the gentlemen, Scott Smoley, who is a Shriner, put me in contact with the person who's in charge of that at the shrine, Steve Mason. And they thought it was such a great thing that we were doing, that they're letting us use it and they're helping us out. And then the next thing that came about was sound. In a place that big, you have to have a sound person. And we found that. And in the midst of all of that, um, Travis Powell with Lamar Signs said,
Yes.
we believe this is such a great thing. How can we help you
Mhm.
with advertisement? Here, we're going to help you with electronic billboards. And then you with your wonderful radio station. So it has been a labor of love so far, and it is coming together. And we have so much amazing talent in this town. You could literally go out almost every night somewhere and see the talent that is here in Springfield. Um, it is absolutely incredible to me, the amount of local talent that we have. And so uh, it's going to be an amazing night of entertainment. We have everything from rock to bluegrass, and such talented groups that are going to be performing. Um, we have Isaac Kenneth, who is an up and coming recording artist and songwriter, singer songwriter from here. We have Allie and the Cats, which is Allie Hutzel, and her band. We have Brian Pitts, who is with the Hall & Oates Project, Yachtly Groove, the City Girls, which is a Eagles cover band. So we have him. We have the Ozark Mountain Five, all amazing bluegrass musicians. Some of them have been on the Grand Ole Opry. We have Grace Klena. It's Allie's daughter, but she will actually, she just released a single, and she will be doing her first solo debut on the stage at this concert. So, yeah, I think that was everybody. I think I got them all that we're having. So,
Well, and a
absolutely.
couple of those folks have already done an interview. Kyle and Brian Isaac's coming up. So if you want to watch those, head over to YouTube at Run Radio Station. You can even see Scott Schmoley there too, doing his thing.
Yeah.
It's always a privilege to be here amongst so many great giving people, giving back to a person that gave so much to all of us, whether or not we knew him firsthand. And I'm
Right.
very glad this event is going to be happening soon. Is there anything else we need to know? Where do people need to get tickets? Where do they need to reserve everything they need to know?
Perfect. So March 15th is the concert. So
Mm.
yes, it's right around the corner. There are a couple ways that you can get tickets. We have a website. It is the Joe Rickman Memorial Concert.com. And you can go through there and get general admission tickets. Those are $30 a piece. We have VIP tickets. Those are at a table on the floor near the stage, and those are $75 a piece, and you get a gift and a drink coupon and some other things with that. Or you can get your friends together and you can get a table of 8, and it gives you a discount on those VIP tickets. I think they end up being about $68 a piece, and you still get all the same benefits that you do as a VIP. And then finally, if you have a business, this is a great opportunity for you to sponsor. You can have a table uh, of 8 and all the same things that the VIPs get, but also you get recognition as a sponsor on our website, on our social media. You get shout outs during the concert and a table sign. And that's $650. If you want a table, then you contact me, and my information is everywhere, but it is Michele with 1 L at michellerickman.com. And you can email me there. You can find me through the event on Facebook. And yes, we have many ways you can get tickets. We want to fill that place up. It takes about $10,000 to grant a wish. And our goal is that we raise enough to grant 3 wishes. There are over 90 kids on the wait list right now for Make-A-Wish in Southwest Missouri. So
Wow.
that's just the kids here. I believe that last year Make-A-Wish granted over 400 wishes across the United States. I think that's right. It's around that number. A huge amount of wishes. So they're still, Make-A-Wish is still recovering from 2020 and people not working and donations down, and so and I can't say enough about what a wish does to bring hope to a kid who has a chronic life-threatening disease. Their days are hard, and it is incredible what Make-A-Wish can do, and we just want to be a part of that. So you can be a part of that by joining us and coming to the concert, supporting. We also have vendor opportunities for people. So if you have a business and you would like to be seen that day and meet people and connect with people, you can have a booth for $75. And that includes your booth space and 2 general admission tickets. So that gives you an opportunity to bring somebody with you to the concert and get in and enjoy and have your booth out there and be seen.
We're looking forward to it. Thanks for doing a good thing stemming from a tragic thing. The Joe Rickman Memorial Concert. Thank you so much for sharing, Michele.
Thank you.
Runradio.net for more information.